Hello, everyone. Thanks for catching Training Tuesday. I am Suzanne Castle, as you can see in the notes below. Who are you? Let me know. I love seeing comments, so be sure and give StreamYard permission, and I'll drop them up on the screen. Say hi, where you're watching from. Maybe you're watching live, maybe you're watching on replay. However you're watching, I'm glad that you're here this Training Tuesday because today we're talking about overcoming our to-do lists. We all have them. Can we just have a moment for the yuckiness of them? You know, I turned 50 and I realized, I used to laugh when my parents or grandparents would say, let's write that on the list, thinking, oh my gosh, you can't remember that. And here I am. And life is just racing all of the time. We're overwhelmed by information, either the things that we have to do on social media or for the kiddos or our loved ones or in our business or for volunteering. And it just amasses on top of us, doesn't it? And many of us have our little strategies. There's all different ones. You can just like create a list that's got check boxes and you write it all down. And as you go through things and you do that, that's one strategy. Another strategy to get through the to-do list is to use a program where you put everything in and how long it's going to take you. And then the program hacks it for you and says the exact order you should do that to be the most efficient and productive. Another way is to make a list and have those. And I use Post-it notes. I'm a Post-it note person. They're everywhere. And then you decide, okay, do I want to do the hardest thing first so that I'll feel this great sense of accomplishment? Or do I want to do a couple of easy things so I get to get rid of things, right? There's a lot of different strategies when it comes to overcoming our to-do list. And what I say, going from to-do to ta-da, right? Because it makes you feel so good inside when you do that. And I would love to know what's your strategy. Like when you think about your to-do list, once you write it below, let me know. I would love to know what you particularly do. But here's the thing, you're not here for that. You're here for the hacks. So I think it's important to remember that a strategy is just that, it's a strategy. And it might not work all the time. It might only work for a short period of time. So you need to be collecting the data to say, is what I'm doing working to get me through at the end of the day? Here is what doesn't work, folks. Keeping that never-ending to-do. I'm trying to find one. It's across the way. Keeping the never-ending to-do list. And then you only get one or two things done. And so you translate all of that to another day, or you just add another piece of paper that has a bunch of things. And before you know it, you're snowballing into all of these things that aren't getting done. You may not think that that affects you. It does. Somewhere up here, your brain is resonating with the fact that you didn't accomplish a thing and still working on it. It's like overloading the RAM in your computer, right? So what we want to do is think differently about what we put on our to-do list and how we access it and what we look for, right? So the first thing that needs to get on your to-do list is what will make you feel the most successful today and give meaning, right? So it's, if I could give my time and energy to only one thing today, what would that be? Now, for some of you have goals in like personal fitness or in relationship building. Some of you have work goals, right? Whatever it is, what is the one thing that at the end of the day lets you lay down at night, feel accomplished, and feel restful? That needs to be on your to-do list. And the second thing is, and what would make me light up inside so that I can continue to show up in the world? That's a self-care thing. So it might be working out, but it also might be filing papers, because if it freaks you out and you're not real present because you got to file papers, then that's the thing to do. You see, understanding how to hack your to-do list is about you and your productivity and your strategy and what lights you up and helps you push out. So it doesn't matter like that I teach a strategy of monotasking, that I say you should never have more than three things on your to-do list. Everything else is extra. That if you want to use a program or not, you want to use old school or not, doesn't matter. You want a bullet journal, doesn't matter. You have to find what works for you, and you will only know that if you try something, keep the data, and also check in with yourself and see how you're feeling. That is the first most important strategy, right? Use what you can, collect the data, and understand how it's affecting you. So my second strategy for you today on this quick Training Tuesday video is that your to-do list should not be running your life. You should be running your life. So if you find yourself with more and more items on your to-do list that are not getting completed, and you have the never-ending list, like my Charming keeps it in his notes on his phone. That works for him. That overwhelms me. If I opened up my notes and I saw 100 running things, I would just lose it every single day. I can't do that. So what is important to understand is when you are approaching your to-do list, are you grateful for the items on that list? Or do they send you into like, I hate this life land, right? Because the items on your to-do list are about you showing up for yourself, for your loved ones, for the entities you serve with your time and your talents, as well as your business. Notice I put that one last, right? So if all the things on your to-do list are just sending you spiraling, then obviously, hi Brittany, glad to see you. Obviously, the way that you're accessing the information and how you're putting that back out in the world, there's a disconnect, there's a problem. Because if your to-do list makes you cry, then I would say it's time to reset yourself from a core place to say, what am I giving my time and my energy to? That's why that question that I gave you a few minutes ago is really important, which is to understand what is the one thing that I can do today that will send me into like this orbit of amazingness that I will lay down at night and go, yes, I accomplished something great today. And for me, sometimes that's walking my dog. Sometimes the only thing that I can get in the day that I know will make me feel good. Sometimes it's seeing my kiddo at college. It has nothing else to do with my business. You need to understand you first and how you want to show up in the world and then translate that into a system of getting things done. So, today, let me ask you a question. I'd love for you to track today. I'd love for you to check in with me later and say, okay, here's what I do. I write it all down. I use a Post-it note. I use an electronic format for my to-dos. Doesn't matter, whatever. Okay. And at the end of the day, I want to know, did you get it all done? And if you didn't, what are you noticing? Are there things that stay on your to-do list every single time? Maybe you need to outsource those. Is it that you maybe need to train someone? I know that takes a little time and energy to do that thing if it's constantly showing up on your to-do list, right? But remember, it starts with you. It starts with you and understanding how you want to show up and your productivity and then translate that into a system. All right. If you need some help with this, I put together a thing called the Speedy Priority Finder because my to-dos always come out of a priority, right? And I'm going to drop that in the comments below and you can access it. It's just a downloadable PDF. It's super easy to find. It's also on my website. You can go to suzannecastle.com/free and you'll see that there and you just download it there. In about 5 or 10 minutes, it will help you unlock what's most important so that you understand how to translate that to your to-do and your schedule. Gosh, I'm glad you were here. I hope you are too. I'm Suzanne Castle. This is Training Tuesday. I'll see you next week. Have a wonderful week.